Oh wait, hold on a minute. Josh, I think you wanted like a tour of like my room or something. I think it was you. I don't know, I can't remember. But yeah, it's like, there's the bed, TV, fucking games, box. And this is the room. Like, this is it. This is literally it. Don't get your I hope you didn't get your hopes up, because it's like the most uneventful room in existence. I think you said you were like confused as to how my room is laid out. It's straight up it's just like real simple. But yeah, Lotic has an album out and it's called Power. If you like abrasive, crazy, industrial, experimental electronic music, if you like Arca, if you're a fan of the album Mutant, which I am a huge fan of, then you're gonna dig this. It's pretty much in that same ballpark. But yeah, I loved how this album did a great job of balancing tones of just absolute untamed, unhinged, frantic chaos, with some tracks that had more kind of kaleidoscopic and twinkly soundscapes that gave it a little bit more of a hopeful feel. The whole thing was just quite a fucking journey. From track 1, the song Love and Light, kicks things off with this alarmingly bright series of just these sunny, glistening synth arpeggios that really sound pretty stunning. Like the sound play on this opening track from the get-go, like right away, I'm just like amazed by the production quality. And I loved how these arpeggios were just paired up so violently with just these abrasive synth stabs later on in the track. It gave the song like a sense of dread. Like it started off kind of in a very positive way, and then it kind of slowly divulged into something a little bit more nightmarish. It sort of sounds like the sonic representation of realizing what you thought was paradise is actually like hell. Like in Bioshock Infinite or something, you know, when you first arrive in Columbia, it's like, holy shit, this place is amazing, and then you find out it's like horribly racist, and it's like, oh wow, this is hell. I think the second half of this opening track doesn't really advance the song too much though, unfortunately, and musically, I do just get generally a One-O-Trix Point Never feel from this song. I just think some of the sound play is kind of similar to something he would use on albums like R+7 or his most recent one, but generally I do think the song does a good job of setting a tone. I don't really think it had much of a fulfilling payoff, but things pick up immensely on the next track. The song Hunted is one of the album's most chilling songs by far. I fucking love the creepy as hell, very whispery vocal thing that gets kind of looped throughout the song incessantly. It gives this track an irresistible sense of just conviction, and it just constantly keeps you on your toes. It's sort of like the musical representation of, I'd say this one sounds like, it's like you're trapped in a basement with like some psychotic scientist or something. Like, I'll make another video game comparison. It's like in Heavy Rain, when that fucking crazy dude, you're in the bed, and that like surgeon guy is like fucking with you in Heavy Rain. Yeah, this is the soundtrack to that part. The mechanical percussion on this song is fucking sick, and in fact, all the drumming on this album is ridiculously satisfying. The drums kind of suffocate you in a way on this album, in a good way. I mean that positively. Like there's a sense of paranoia and intensity to all of it, especially on the third track, Bulletproof, which is one of the most unnerving songs I've heard all fucking year. The sound design here is legitimately mind-blowing, and I fucking adore it. It's crazy. This track fucking blew me away. The vocal shit on this track, the vocals on this song are manipulated to absolute oblivion. It sounds like, bro, I'm gonna keep going with these video game comparisons. It sounds like the noise that would happen if, you know, the basilisks in Dark Souls, when they're like charging up their fucking curse breath, or if you were to like pop their fucking mouth when they're like fully charged, I feel like the noise that would come out is similar to the vocal on this track. Like if you were to poke it with like a needle when it's like swelling up or something. That's actually amazing. Oh my god. I actually think the violent hard stop transition as well from this track to the next song, Distribution of Care, was pretty brilliant. Actually, it was really nicely timed. It actually kind of added to the sort of unhinged, frantic personality that this album really does maintain for the first leg of tracks. The first half is just hit after hit, just non-stop, it's just, you can't keep up with it, it's just breakneck. In fact, I think it maintains that pretty consistently front to back, honestly, and I think the drums on this track, Distribution of Care, at the beginning, they do kind of suffer from sounding a little bit busy, a little bit clunky in my opinion, but then these strings come in later on, and they give the song an added sense of, again, just intensity, just unsettling paranoia. There's just this winding feel to the strings on this thing, it's just really unnerving. Everything about it feels just off in a good way. It's like uncomfortable, but intentional. Like, holy shit, this thing, listening to this album on like a nighttime walk in like some sort of crime-ridden like town or something would be fucking terrifying. And the way the 808s crash in on this track is fucking just orgasmic, bro. And this is such a gratifying payoff too by the end of the song. There are plenty of things to praise about this album's early stages. I think the first leg of this album is pretty fucking great. It gets off to a flying start, and fortunately, I think the second half of the album lives up. I think it's pretty consistent. There are a few slumps. I think the song Nerve is probably the least enjoyable track on this album. It kind of features a bit of a trap influence, but that wasn't really the problem, because I think that actually gave it a pretty nocturnal character that I didn't get from any of the other songs. So it did a good job of separating itself from the rest of the track list, but the vocals on the song Nerve were pretty hard to endure. Like, they sounded kind of horrible. There were a lot of effects on them. They were just a bit grating. It didn't really fit in comfortably with the rest of the song, but the interlude, the warp and the weft, I think it was called. This track features some pretty insane, pretty intense stabbing, just skittish fucking breakbeat drums that are really disorienting. They do not let up at all on this track. And the use of panning on this song was fucking sick. There's just this unrelenting tone of just claustrophobia and hopelessness to this track because it sounds so fucking alien. Like, it's a really cool interlude. I think as an interlude it works so well. It sounds like it was made in like a factory. Like, imagine like a factory that's like got a conveyor belt and it's like pumping out songs, and it's just like there's no human creative input. It's just like a factory, and then like some weird glowing alien drop of liquid just drops from the sky somewhere and seeps into the fucking machinery, and whatever that is like fucks everything up, and whatever comes out of the conveyor belt afterwards, I feel like this song would be that. The track after this interlude, Resilience, is another absolute fucking gem in my opinion. This is right up my street. I love the really sort of harsh, shrill, screeching synth sweeps that just kind of peppered throughout the song. They sound terrifying alongside like this really grungy, just harsh barrage of synths that just continuously pop in throughout the song. They storm in with a lot of ferocity, and it sounds pretty provocative. It's pretty sick. Vocals are used again on songs like Solace and Heart. I think they were incorporated a lot better on the song Heart, particularly, as they were very effectively sort of used essentially just sort of like as a tool to add to the very uncompromisingly creepy tone that the song has, and they felt a little more comfortable than they did on the song Nerve. I like how the groove sort of consistently shifts and changes throughout the song. It keeps the song moving, it keeps it engaging, it keeps it progressing into somewhere new. It never feels like it's stationary. The whole album never feels like it's standing still. It's always shifting and warping in some fucked way. And the title track, I think, is a prime example of that. This is an incredibly dynamic song which starts and ends pretty beautifully, but the middle portion of this title track is like the most hellish moment arguable in the whole fucking album. It is absolute insanity. It features what sounds like live acoustic drums being spun into this more kind of synthetic and fucked context with these breakneck, breakbeat drum patterns, and I think that works wonderfully when juxtaposed alongside the pretty gorgeous intro and outro. It's a pretty insane song. Yeah, this track is completely destructive. It was pretty mind-melting. Overall, this album was fucking sick. Holy shit. This was cool. I'm feeling a really strong 8. Yeah, I loved this thing. This is totally up my street. Again, if you're an Arca fan, this is totally for you. Yeah, I'm going to be playing this one a lot. This is pretty awesome. One of the best electronic albums of the year. It is bordering on a 9. But we'll see how that develops over time. I think this is great. 11 tracks, 40 minutes of some of the most mind-melting shit I've listened to all year. So yeah, Lotic, Power, approved, sick one. Alright, thanks for watching my review. I hope you enjoyed it. Bye!